Is that music?
It's a good choice.
Hey, well played.
We got no ship. No crew. How are we gonna get out of this one?
We will find hope in the impossible.
Well, at least I won't die alone. Well, that's just typical.
Simon, since Spaced, going through the Cornetto trilogy and your film Paul, you've professed your fandom for the Star Trek saga, the whole thing around Star Trek. How did the opportunity to be part of it came to you, and especially in this third film that you are working as a script writer?
Well, after Shaun of the Dead came out, the film got a release in the US, and J.J. Abrams saw the movie and phoned me directly to ask me to come and be in Mission Impossible 3. And I was thrilled and excited and went and met him, and we immediately got on very well and became friends. And I think when he was casting Star Trek and he was trying to find his Scotty, he couldn't find anybody, and so he just thought, oh, I'll ask Simon, because he'll do it. And that's how that happened. And it was an extraordinary opportunity to be part of something which I'd loved all my life. And then 2 films in, and we were facing a situation where we didn't really have a screenplay that the studio was happy with, and we had to come up with something quite quickly. And I think JJ and Brian Burke, our producer at the time of the first 2 movies, sort of approached me knowing that I obviously was a fan of Star Trek, that I knew all these actors in the cast, and I was in a good position to perhaps be a screenwriter, and they paired me with Doug Jung, and that was it. We hit the ground running. We didn't have a chance to breathe. We just started typing.
I see there's lots of pop culture references, not only Star Trek references. You have Beastie Boys songs, you have hip hop, and even you have the name of the character Jayla, which is an acronym for Jennifer Lawrence, right?
Yeah.
How much freedom do you have, knowing that this is such a beloved saga, and that the fans are so strict about it?
Well, yeah, I mean, ultimately, we have, by being given the opportunity to write it, we have ultimate freedom to do what we want, I mean, the fact is we're fans as well. Doug and I are both fans, and we want to make a Star Trek film that we would like as Star Trek fans. So we have to trust that other Star Trek fans feel like we do. Ultimately, we're not beholden to the fans. It's not like they tell us what to do. It's a dangerous situation when the fans start dictating what happens. That is the death of artistic freedom, really. But as a fan of Star Trek and feeling the same way as a lot of these Star Trek fans do, we were able to craft a movie which I feel satisfied some of the long-term fans, as well as introduced people that had never seen Star Trek before to the story.
I dare to say that this is like maybe the less dark of the trilogy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Not only aesthetically, but also thematically. And also this one doesn't focus that much on Spock. It has a lot more interest in what happens to Captain Kirk. Did those things happen while you were writing, or was it something that you thought on beforehand?
Well, we definitely wanted to kind of move away from the Spock-Kirk dynamic, which I think had been exhaustively explored in the first 2, perhaps a little prematurely, in fact. I feel like, they'd only just met, really, and so let's come back to that later when they've known each other for many, many years and look at their friendship. For now, let's look at the whole crew as an ensemble and what happens when they all get split up. Also, the idea of darkness. People confuse the idea of darkness with being grown up. There's no reason why you can't look at fairly grown-up themes, make social comment without it having to be dark. Dark just means that it's a bit violent and unpleasant, and somehow that makes it grown up. You can still appeal to adults and be light-hearted and fun, In a way, the darkness thing is more appealing to kind of adolescents, because they're trying to let go of their childhood, so it feels like, oh, this is dark, it's adult. Yeah, when really it doesn't necessarily equal grown-upness.
What do you think that Justin Lin gives to this already refreshed version of Star Trek? And how was it to work with him now that you are behind the script?
Justin was great. You know, he was a long-term Star Trek fan. He had a great love for the series. It had been a big part of his childhood. And Justin has an incredible gift for just being able to manipulate the image and the camera and choreograph great action, as well as sort of make sure that there is time given over to character, because none of the action will work if you don't care about the characters. So a lot of the time when Justin was busy trying to devise certain sequences, he would task Doug and I with making sure that the human aspect of the story was in place, so that when these big events happened, you actually cared about what was happening, you know. Otherwise, if you don't really care about the people that it's happening to, then it's just fireworks, you know. So that was Justin's great skill, and I also think he has a lovely understanding of the family dynamic. And I think he said when he directed The Fast and the Furious that, you know, that was always something that was really important to him, was this idea of family. And when he started directing Star Trek, he realized that that idea had taken root when he was a kid watching Star Trek, because Star Trek was about this kind of family. So it really went full circle for Justin, and I feel like he put such passion and heart into the project. It was great to watch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.